Welcome, everybody, to Culture 8 Podcasts, where we delve into the intricate world of organization cultures. Today, we welcome Omoregie of Champion Talent Consulting.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us, Omoregie.
Oh,
Tell us a
thanks
little
for
about your organization.
thank you for having me. Just want to say first and foremost, thank you for having me on the podcast. It was great meeting you. Way back when we met at a tag event in Technology Association in Georgia event. And it was an awesome opportunity to meet so many individuals who are kind of on the same path, same mindset as far as focusing on growing, networking, and being able to do great things, within the space they're in, of course. And it was great meeting you there, of course. And thank you so much for having me on your podcast. So,
Absolutely.
of course. So Champion Talent Consulting is a business I started back in 2018. So since 2011, I've been in talent acquisition, specifically executive search. And I had the opportunity to just make a leap of faith, honestly. I met a lawyer with some HR needs and ended up filling a legal admin role for him. And the rest is history, honestly. Creating my LLC just to be able to be in the right standing to do the business that I wanted to do, and just started to grow from there. So since then I've been in a few different spaces, of course, but all worked in the right way in order to give me the experience I need to do even bigger projects in the future. Right, so. We're a one-person company right now, but we do consult with other consultants to get projects done. Essentially, we work in many different spaces. Recently got a bit into government contracting for municipalities, enterprise technology. I worked in enterprise technology for the past 3 years or so. Before that, worked for sports business. As you can see from my picture, I'm a sports guy. I'm a former All-American in Georgia Tech, Hall of Famer in Georgia Tech, and did pretty well for myself in the sports field. So I worked in the sports business just naturally, and it was just one of those things where I had the opportunity to dive into the sports business side. It's a bit different, of course, but as far as being able to take my experience from my original company, Barton Executive Search, now Barton Muhammad Search, and take it onto the sports business side is pretty cool to see how everything kind of works in conjunction. A lot of these different principles and mindsets that I've taken from sports have been able to translate into the business world. And it's just pretty cool to see how, like I said, winning is winning, process is process, being able to do the boring things, the little things, the detailed things to make great things happen, so that's something that I totally believe in, and I've been fortunate enough to see happen over and over again. And I just trying to take a little bit of the experience that I have from all these different places and be able to make some change within organizations and help them grow for the better, while changing lives for the better as well. So it's a pretty awesome position to be in, and I'm excited to get more opportunities in the future. So
That's awesome, and I'm excited for you. And this is great. You're not the first leader who I've met who've talked about their influence or their lives influenced by sports. So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So if our audience can learn a little bit more about you, tell us about your very first job.
So my very first position, my first official W-2 position, was at Barton Executive Search. Right. So Barton Muhammad Search which is a CPG focused firm, and niche within a niche, sales and marketing, CPG folks for the most part, which is anything that's sold in Walmart, consumer packaged goods. Basically, I had no idea what executive search was when I first started. I just met Tim Barton, and he was a good person to me. He ended up giving me the job. So, it was just one of those things where I was able to learn from the high rises. You see everything from the eye in the sky of how organizational effectiveness work, how career pathing works, etc. And it was just a really cool experience just to be able to kind of sit and be able to learn from so many business leaders that he was that he spoke to on a regular basis. So Bridgestone, whether it be Bridgestone, whether it be Welch's, I think we did Welch's CEO search. We did a VP of supply chain search, and I could see like all kind of chief whatever searches for Snyder's Lance. I don't even know if Snyder's Lance is still a company, but Snyder's Lance, which was a cookie company, of course, Lance cookies and snacks, etc. Bridgestone, which is a tire company, Firestone tire. Kellogg, which I had like a very brief stint at Kellogg, but Kellogg is a huge brand, huge consumer brand. Nintendo, you name it, we work the best of them as far as consumer packaged goods and just people who sell products. So that was my first W-2 position, and I worked there for, like I said, about 7 years, until I decided to get the bug to go to school. And I was always wanted to get 2 degrees within my lifetime, just because I had a very educated family. I have a very educated family. Um, I think most of my brothers have 2 degrees for the most part. One's a doctor of pharmacy, the other one's um, a PhD from Johns Hopkins. He's a professor now at Johns Hopkins. So like they're crushing me as far as the education goes. But it's just one of those things where I've come up in a very educated family, so I always want to get a second degree. And
That
the
is wonderful.
opportunity to come into the space and get educated was presented itself, as well as the LLC opportunity with the legal admin role that I did. And just one of those things where everything kind of came into fruition, and was able to handle a few things. So I was at Barton Executive until then, and life kind of took its course. So
Fantastic. I would say one thing, if I could give unsolicited advice, would be to give yourself some grace. You're doing
uh,
awesome to be just
thank you.
doing this, independently, creating an entire business on your own. This is
Of
much more
course.
than I would say. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Nah,
So
thank you. I'm excited to be able to work with so many prestigious people. Executive search is one of those things where people will teach you, right?
yes,
So I call it mutual education,
wow,
right? I teach you on the ins and outs of, I had internal experience, I had agency experience, I had independent experience, right? So I can teach you from a lot of different levels about how to structure your search as to where you're creating the right process to find the right person that you're looking for.
yeah,
So I had a lot of experience in that space, and you, as a business owner, right, you get me smarter on the ins and outs of your business, the technical
yeah.
skills that are needed, the technical aspects, the operational aspects, all the different parts of your business that will help me get smarter in order to find the most effective person for the
It's
position.
the world of collaboration, Morgan.
Yep.
That's a given. Like that's
Yep.
how we will create value for in the future for everybody. So
Exactly.
quickly shifting gears, moving to the organizational cultures. Um, how would you describe the organizational culture at your current, like that is your own organization? You can
Mhm.
speak about your own organization as well as even in the past.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of different opportunities where over communication was a norm, which is awesome for me. I think over
Yep,
communication without micromanagement is the goal for every organization, to be always in the know, but never feeling like you're having somebody breathe on your neck, right? Which is an awesome feeling, right? So, past organizations, whether it be Barton, Nolan, and Software AG, always had some opportunities to do some great things, and work on some really important things. While, like I said, being over communicated, having access to people that I need to get projects done, of course, while also, like I said, hands off, where I wasn't necessarily being micromanaged, so I can figure things out for myself, and
yep.
also get the support I need to get jobs done.
I
So
love it.
happy to be.
Collaboration. Yeah,
Hmm? Yep, like I
I
said,
love it. The fact that
yeah,
collaboration is
collaboration is key, and the head coach at Georgia Tech right now, Coach Key. I went to hear him speak recently, this past summer actually, and he said that just one thing that you could talk about when it comes to teammates, right? Well, just being a student athlete and the value it brings, right, is that you can sit down next to anybody, right, and get things done, right? You can make things happen, just because you have that collaborative spirit.
I love it.
You take your strengths and you understand the other person's strength, and you do that dance until you get, the necessary outcome that you're looking for, which
Yeah.
is pretty awesome. So, that collaborative spirit, that collaborative mindset, that servant leadership mindset as to where, um, you're serving others, you get to do this, you know how to do this, you're not doing it for a particular result or outcome. You get to do this, and the process is, you take reward in the process. And I was telling one of my constituents recently, I coach high school football as well. You beat that process into the ground until you get the results that you want, right? you
Yes.
you you reassess, right, and implement as much as possible, as effectively as possible, and you keep reassessing until you get the results that you want,
Music
right?
to my
So,
ears. Adapting, executing,
mhm.
working on the stuff that matters and or what you have control over, that's your actions, and
Yep,
forget about your results. When your focus and your purpose is right, your results will come automatically. It's a side effect of your actions.
I agree.
Fantastic. Let me ask you another question. What elements of culture did you find most supportive or motivating in your daily work?
Like I said, just having that ability to have that over communication as to where is there are no dumb questions, right?
Yes.
I tell a quick story about getting into the iPass industry, right? I had no idea what iPass was, right? I worked for Omoregie, but I thought it was an IoT company, right? And I thought IoT was it. IoT is the most recognizable thing that I knew about it,
Mm.
right? But I had no idea that iPass was the biggest product. And when I went out recruiting for the salespeople on my first go around, right? I found like somebody from AWS, right? Or not AWS, like T-Mobile or something like that. Just because like, okay, IoT, iPads, etc. Of course, it's a right fit. It's a direct fit, right? IoT, they're an IoT company, T-Mobile, and while he was an amazing salesperson, right? While he was an amazing salesperson, he wasn't the right fit just because he hadn't done the type of projects
Mm.
or the complex sales that took to execute um, the sale that he was going into. So it was an iPass, sales position, right? And I had to sit down with the hiring manager, and he's broken down like, hey, look, there are 5 aspects of selling to the CIO. There's this, is this, is this, is this, and this, right? And he just kind of broke it down for me. And then even from there, I took experience from my time at Nolan, where we created quote unquote target landscapes, and just understanding, hey, what's most important is making the individual, of course, find the most effective person, but the way you find the most effective person, and of course, is you make the individual feel most comfortable making the decision based off past experiences, outcomes, goals, not outcomes, but goals, just different things that come with being successful in a position, right? So you break that down, right? And you really take the opportunity to really understand what's necessary to be successful, of course. And then you also get specific as possible when finding different things about the places that these people are going to come from, right? And then you populate from there, right? So there's that. But back to your question about culture and just over communication, being able to sit down with Adam Pedracky, right, is his name. Being able to sit down with Adam Pedracky and really get the breakdown of what it takes to be successful in the position, right, and not feeling like I'm, um, overstepping my boundaries or being, too much of what's the word? Being too much of not like I said, no dumb questions. I'm new to iPass, so he has to teach me what
Much of
iPass
being
is.
a know-it-all, if I may.
Yeah, being know it all or anything like that, right? It's just
I love it.
he broke it down for me. I was able to learn from him just because he understands sales, he understands
Yeah.
complex sales, he understands iPass. So being able to learn from him, and then me being able to use my skills, of course, to go out into the field, find the appropriate people, and have a successful search, right, was awesome. So being able to over communicate, being able to collaborate at a very deep level, and of course, like I said, beat the process down until we find the right result.
I
So
think one thing I would assume is that you were actually listening as well.
of
It was
course,
more important for you to listen and understand what he needs, the customer's needs were, the client's needs were, before you could actually communicate. So fantastic. Thank you.
One thing about communication is never a one way street, right? Communication is being understood and being able to be understood, right? Or so being able to be understood as well as understanding as well.
Yeah,
So that's it's the most effective way to send a message, right?
absolutely. And I think I have a quote for this, and I forgot who the author was, and a very famous personality. But they said was the misconception in communication is that it actually happened,
Right. I
right? I
hear
mean,
you. I hear you.
so fantastic. Thank you for taking us over there. Um, Moving on to, can you share a specific example of how the company culture has positively impacted your work or team dynamics?
Like I said, collaboration is a part of search. It's a mutual education process as to where I'm educating you, you're educating me, and then from there, it's just making sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's as far as logistics go, right? So, it's being process driven, being, over communicative, collaborative, actually being passionate also helps, being allowed being making it fun enough as to where you can be passionate about your position and passionate
Yes.
about what you do and loving what you do. How it is being an entrepreneur. There are some days where you have to make work, right? So
Yes.
being passionate about what you do is very important, of course. And also just like I said, just being able to put your all into things and not feel and feel like you're making strides and like I said, process driven as to where you're following steps rather than reaching in the dark, right? So um that's how I believe that understanding different aspects of culture has helped me in the future. Help me as of right now. Like I said, you're making work at times as an entrepreneur. So just being able to stick to your guns, stick to your passion, your process, over communicating with individuals that you're working with, being collaborative, right? Finding ways
Yes.
to make things happen for you and others. So
Yeah. Thank you. Let me switch it up a little bit. What challenges have you or had you faced regarding company culture, and how did you address them?
as far as company culture goes, I would say that my last company was international, right? So it wasn't necessarily a built-in, it was more so a built-in, silo or barrier rather than, one of those things where, people's actions or bad actors kind of, cause things. It's one of those things where, Dubai and their way of doing things is totally different. Not
Yeah.
totally different, but it's different than the US, right? So, working with North American search is different than working at a search in Dubai with a hiring manager in France, right? So it's just one of those things that were built in as to where you had to break down those silos, break down those opportunities for miscommunication, right? And really, really understand the nitty gritty of what the issue was and addressing it as purest form and growing from there.
So
So
changing culture environment was one of your challenges that you seemingly, based on your response, I can understand that you were able to effectively adapt based on a hiring manager from France, the executives that are being hired from, who are living in Dubai, the way of working, the way of communication, and for a company which is in the United States. So three different cultures, macro cultures being brought up right up your face, and then you're actually dealing with it, adjusting your,
exactly.
yeah.
Like I said, just breaking things down to its purest form and being able to grow from there. Understanding that the driving force is that we all want to do a great job, right?
Yes.
So as well, we all want to work with great people, right? So just come with a positive mindset for one, and
Yeah.
then from there, like I said, breaking down things down to the purest form, and really figuring out what it takes, the components of what it takes to be successful
Would you
within
say the
whatever
purest form
project.
being that everybody is human?
I think everybody's human, like I said, and everybody wants to, wants to win, right?
Yes.
And is I work in a business. Honestly, there are individuals who don't necessarily, get the job, which is unfortunate. But outside of that, as far as your stakeholder goes, we can all win, right?
Yeah.
Because you one being able to come to terms with the individual that you're going to pick to be in the position, right? And then two, having that person perform is always a win for me. It's always a win for them. It's a win for the company, right? So everybody wins, right? So it's just
Yeah.
one of those things where it's like, hey, make me, make you look good, right? So that's
Yeah.
where it comes from, right? So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just share a little story about another recruiter that I knew of. And every time, so he was recruiting for our company, and all the engineers that he did recruited, they were pretty great individuals.
Mhm.
And when I was friends with him, obviously, with the recruiter. And when I would speak about, okay, this and so person is actually doing so great, he felt that personal pride, the fact
Yeah,
that he
of
had
course,
hand in recruiting those
of course,
individuals,
of
and then
course,
they
of
were
course.
adding value. So
Of
it
course,
was
of course, of course. You're creating great environments. And nothing better than that. To create a great environment for somebody to come in, thrive, and enjoy their lives. Right? We all
yes.
want to enjoy our lives, right? No one wants to go to work and enjoy going to work, right?
That's
So
almost like the results, that success that you as a recruiter would be looking for.
yeah,
That's
fulfillment for sure. So
awesome. You've spoken a lot about positive culture aspects. Tell me a little bit different, or if there's another point, like how do you contribute to fostering a positive organizational culture in your role?
I think a very deep belief in a positive mindset, setting a positive example, and being able to yield positive results based off processed action, right?
I love it. Yeah.
So, being able to produce positive results based off the work that you put in and having control of your outcome, from a deep level of being able to positively impact people to get
Yeah.
the outcomes that you want.
Yeah. Even in situations where it's not everything is going to be success, there's going to be failures as well. But keeping a positive mindset, that goes a long way.
Of course. Like I said, just feeling that things aren't out your hand, right? You can't control the weather, right? You can't control the weather. You can't control a lot of different things, but there are many different things that you can control that you are able to control, right?
Starts from inside that we
Start
are
from
able to
inside.
control.
Even the negative people in your life, right? How you react to them, how you respond to them, affects them, right?
That's
You
beautiful.
know, so
Yes.
so just one of those things where having that positive mindset, that deep belief in positivity, and just being able to affect your outcomes through your own actions, that
Beautifully said.
accountability, of
Yes.
course, is a very powerful thing that I've been able to adopt from a very young age, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a superpower I believe that I have, as well as many other have, of course, that anybody can have, right? Of just being able to, like I said, being able to feel and also show the results of a
Yeah.
positive mindset, affecting people positively and driving positive culture, positive action, positive process to produce the desired outcome that you want.
They say leaders bring the weather. So
Mhm.
while we may not have the control of the external weather, we do have the
Mhm.
control of the inner weather that we
Right,
can bring
right.
to
Your
the table.
internal temperature, right?
Yes, that's
Mhm.
beautiful. Thank you.
Love
All
that.
right, so let's time for some rapid fire questions.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, what book do you recommend the most?
I would say oldie but goodie, Outliers, right, by Malcolm Gladwell. I think that was just is a mindset that I've had since I was very young. Of course, being able to understand what drove me to success, but I think that kind of breaks things down,
Mm.
right? And I think like one thing that he talked about was like kids and they play hockey, right? And just that, the kids that were born closer to January, which was the cutoff date for, being able to be in the league, right? At a young age, had more success than the kids born later
Huh.
in life, just because they were a bit older, they're bigger, they're more developed by a few months than the others,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So just one of those things where it takes a very structured and a very structured understanding of how you gain the outcomes that you want in your life, right? Or the gain the results that you wanted in your life, right? Certain things about me, right? I was born a big kid. I had a country coach who was very big on player development, right? Within my lifetime. And it was just one of those things where I got into this program as a freshman versus people who got into this program at an older age,
Mm.
right, in high school, that allowed me to be a bit more developed in my life, right, than others may have been. That got me to the point where I could be successful at Georgia Tech, successful in my high school,
Yeah.
successful elsewhere. Of course, it took a lot of took a lot of luck, it took a lot of just natural strategy in my head to be able
Yeah.
to win matchups, of course. Um, and but I do know that I was awarded a lot of different things that many people weren't in my lifetime, to get the outcomes I wanted, right? So understanding that you're able to kind of manipulate things as to where you can kind of steer yourself, right?
Wow.
If
Yeah.
you use that information positively, right? Or
Yeah.
you use it negatively, you can steer yourself
Yeah.
away from goals, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to steer yourself positively, you can just say, okay, well, let me put myself in better, positions first, right? Point in the right direction and just keep working to get to the point where, I'm producing the results that I want to receive, right?
Nice. Like,
So
so
that
a couple
personal
of things that
accountability
I
is
would,
everything.
sorry. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So a few things I would say is that I think that come to my mind is success to the successful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm a January kid, so I probably
There you
hopefully
go.
that gave me confidence. That was
There you
fantastic.
go.
And
Right.
lastly, I think this is one of the I love what I love about this podcast situation is that I'm able to talk to a lot of leaders, and
Mm-hmm.
then they're influenced by a lot of books, which I can get uh, an understanding of, and then it's gonna be added to my list of books that I must read. Must say.
Great book, I must say.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, great book.
So, what's one thing that people would be surprised to learn about you?
I'll say football, of course, but honestly, just that I'm what's the word? I don't want to say I'm a teddy bear, but I'm a real nice guy. So I'm a good dude. I try to strive to be a good dude. Not necessarily. I strive to be righteous these days. Right? I'm getting into religion a little bit, right? And to be righteous is a gift from God,
Yes.
right? And being able to um be righteous enough to affect others positively is something that I try to strive to be. So I fall short every single day, but but I win in that way a lot of
Yes.
different ways as well. So it's just focusing on the wins, right, and being able to grow from there while recognizing where I can be stronger.
I
So
love that fact. It seems
mhm,
that you're humble, and the fact that you talk about righteousness is also very close to my heart because I believe in the this concept of dharma, which is
mhm,
basically your duty of the way to do the right thing in
mhm,
life. So great.
mhm.
Tell our listeners how can they connect with you.
Yeah, so LinkedIn probably the best way. I would say that, I'm huge on LinkedIn. I'm a recruiter, so I spend all day on LinkedIn, of course. And my name is Omoregie Uzi, Omoregie Uzzi. Last name Uzzi, Uzzi on LinkedIn. And that probably be the best way to get to me. You can also reach me at www.championtalentconsulting.com. That's my website. So if you want to learn more about my recruiting business as well as talent acquisition business, please visit that as well as just you just give me a shout, guys. I'm always available when I am available, of course. And one thing that we do offer at Champion Town Consulting is a free, 100% free, of course, to my capacity, career pathing opportunity for others.
Fantastic. Well, that is great advice, Omoregie. And thank you, folks. This is another episode at Culture 8. And Omoregie, thank you for being a guest on our podcast and appreciate your insights and conversation. Thank you so
Nah,
much.
thank you for having me. I could yap all day, you know what I mean? But just want to say thank you for the opportunity. It's so great working with somebody with such a diverse background as you, who has been able to take all the different things that you've done, right, and take it back to the core, right, culture, right,
Yes.
understanding how to affect moods, how to affect, like I said, ecosystems, organizations, just groups of people who are striving to accomplish things, right?
Yes.
Being able to affect that is so positive, and I think it's very important work that you're doing. So thank you so
Thank you.
much for your time, and it was great speaking with you.
Thank you. Same here.
Awesome, awesome.